Matt O'Reilly has been a complete revelation for Celtic this season. Matt O'Reilly's story is a story of sometimes you have to take a step back. It's a fantastic story when you look at it. The fact that Matt O'Reilly came through the Fulham side at such a young age, he was a bit like Callum McGregor, James Forrest, and many other players at Celtic who came through at a young age. Of 8-year-old Matt O'Reilly joined the Fulham Academy. He did join the Fulham Academy. Matthew Sean O'Reilly had introduced himself to the football world at a tender age. He did go on to play worked his way up through the system at Fulham. And then he made his first team debut on the 8th of August, 2017, and a 2-0 first round away win over Wycombe Wanderers. Over the next couple of seasons, he featured as an under-21 and under-21 side for the club. He made his championship debut on the 1st of January as a 19th minute substitute. 19th minute substitute. By the summer of 2020, obviously everyone knows what happened in March 2020.
That is why people will only be allowed to leave their home for the following very limited purposes. Shopping for basic necessities as infrequently as possible. One form of exercise a day, for example, a run, walk, or cycle.
The world went into lockdown. We were all sitting at home. Players were having to train at home. A lot of us were watching A Place in the Sun and decided to move. But 2020 was a hard year for everyone. Matt O'Reilly took a decision. He was offered a 3-year contract with Fulham, and he decided to turn it down. And as a young player that didn't have another team to go to, that was some decision that he made. It was a fantastic decision on his behalf. Matt O'Reilly does have a mindset coach outside football, someone that he speaks to on a weekly basis, just to keep his mind in the right place and let him focused. And I think that's got to be said for such a young man who's only 24-year-old. That's an old head on such young shoulders. In the summer, on January 2021, after training alone in the summer of 2020 in London, in parks in London to keep himself fit, there had been rumoured interest from other clubs, but nothing came through. Milton Keynes Dons on the 24th of January 2021 signed the one and only Matt O'Reilly for the League One club. Having spent 6 months training as a free agent since leaving Fulham, it was less than a week after he joined MK Dons. On the 30th of January 2021, Matt O'Reilly went on to score his first professional football goal. A goal that probably looks back on much fondness. After an impressive start to the season in 21-22, 11th of December 2021, Matt O'Reilly was named English Football League Young Player of the Month for November, which saw him score 4 goals in as many appearances. And then Celtic caught wind. Well, they'd obviously been keeping tabs on the young Matt O'Reilly. And on the 20th of January 2022, due to a clause in the contract that he had with MK Dons, Celtic Football Club bought Matt O'Reilly for $1.5 million on a 4.5-year deal. He started in a 2-1 away win over Hearts, and then on the 9th of February 2022, scored his first goal for the club in a 3-2 away win over Aberdeen. Matt O'Reilly this season, what can you say about the young man that was born in 2020, who hails from Denmark, was born in England, and has got as Irish as a name that I've ever heard in my life? Matthew Sean O'Reilly. There's no some Irish blood in there. You're telling me I'm English. Matt O'Reilly's had a fantastic season this season. When you look at it, in the Scottish Premiership, he's played 36 matches so far. There is still 1 game remaining in the league. He scored 17 goals for Celtic from midfield, and he's had 13 assists with only 3 yellow cards this season. For a midfield player, Matt O'Reilly is absolutely sublime. There's not many times, well, there has been many times over the Celtic history that we have players that have scored many goals from midfield. You could think back to the midfield maestro. You could think back to even earlier than that. But as a young boy, as a teenager, I was probably the maestro, Paul McStay. It's unfortunate that Celtic will not be able to keep a hold of Matt O'Reilly like they did Paul McStay for his full career. Paul McStay was a fantastic player that decided he didn't want to leave Celtic because it's the only club he ever wanted to play for. His whole family played for Celtic. Matt O'Reilly is on a journey to bigger, better things in world and European football. Matt O'Reilly ends this season as Celtic Player of the Year. An absolutely fantastic accolade for the player. Scoring all those goals has caught the eyes of some European teams. At a height of 1 meter 87, which is around about 6'2", and he was the number 33 shirt. He caught the eyes of Atletico Madrid, as we all know. Leeds also caught the eye of the player, and they put in a cheeky 10 million bid last summer. Atletico Madrid wanted to take him on loan from December until this point of the season, where they then pay Celtic £18 million for the services of the player. Way under what the Celtic valuation was. Some people are saying, look, his valuation is only worth around about 13 million. Celtic are now saying that it's in the region around about 25. With the goals that he's scored, with the assists, the sublime assists, cross balls, and for the likes of Kyogo to head home just recently, fantastic. The Matt O'Reilly story will fizzle out. The Celtic midfield player will leave at some point and he'll go into heady heights. Matthew Sean O'Reilly, this video is just for you to show how much Celtic fans appreciate you. He's a player that will forever be remembered at Celtic. He's a player that will look back on in fondness and say, he loved it here. He loved it here. He'll go on. There's not many players that leave Celtic and go into great things. There's only one player that I can really think of, and that's Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk was a player that Celtic sold far too cheaply in the day. A player that ended up getting sold for 75 million to then go to Liverpool, and now captains Liverpool and has won the Champions League with Liverpool. I expect Matthew Sean O'Reilly to follow in this similar path and similar footsteps as to the one and only Man Mountain Virgil van Dijk, who still looks at Celtic scores today. Matt O'Reilly will do the same for years to come, and then hope that he doesn't come back to Celtic Park to haunt us one day. Matt O'Reilly, this is a nod to you for everything that you've done for Celtic. Absolutely fantastic player. It has been an amazing journey to watch you come from MK Dons from 2020, training in parks in London on your own. You must think to yourself, wow, I've done it. Will he stay at Celtic this summer? There's only one person that knows that, and that's Matthew Sean O'Reilly. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world. This story is to be continued.